Welcome to my channel, welcome to my world. This is the world away. This is a long time coming, isn't it? We have now got issue 35 of the Fanhome release of Build the Ecto-1. We haven't seen this for ages. Look at it. It's still, I've dusted it. I'll be honest with you, both the back lights broke off in the year and a half that we last worked on this. These are gluing in place at the moment. It's not a big deal at the moment. Everything works. I'm going to quickly show you that now. I'm going to show you some of the other things that have happened. I've taken this out the car for the minute, but obviously this is the gurney rack with all of the, check that out, proton packs on there. That looks all right, doesn't it? All this is metal, remember? God, trying to get the cobwebs away, trying to remember what this vehicle had with it. I've also got a box of tricks in a lunchbox here. Because obviously there were some things that we started working on that we didn't finish. And that is, one of them is this light bar that we've got at the front here. We're going to be making the back one. So if you remember, this is where we got to. So we had created that. I'm just seeing what else I've got in here. I've got the trap. Do you remember that? We made the trappers when we did the proton packs. One of them had the trap in it as well, which looked like that. That was one of the special editions there. I think there are some other things in here, like the torch inside the car snapped off of mine, so I'm going to need to put that back in. I've kept everything. I've still got the screws and stuff as well. Look, I've even got the motor for those lights. There's two motors for those lights. They're all covered in screws at the moment, which is crazy. I've also got some mounting brackets. I don't know if I was meant to put them on now or later. Don't know. But everything I need is in here. Oh, look, I've even got some grease to stop the racket of this Ecto-1 car. And it does make a racket. Would you like to hear the racket? It's already plugged in at the moment. I'm going to flick this switch. Ready? Can you hear that? Now, I do know Part Work Upgrades are actually doing a modification for this, so I'm going to hopefully show you that in this video, but that's what it's like without that modification. But looking pretty good, isn't it? But by all means, check out Part Work Upgrades, and you'll see the light bar that Ian's actually working on over there. Let me just show you all the other things that are working on this. I don't know if you can see that. We've got the lights coming on there. Let's press some buttons. These sirens here, can you see them? They're now going on and off, aren't they? Hang on. That's the siren. Oh, I need to turn them on here. And then press the button. And now they're flashing. I don't know if you can see them. They are flashing, trust me. It's making a full racket. The lights are on at the back. Wow. I need to turn this off because it's just making such a racket. There we go. Ah, it's quiet again. Can you believe that? So that is what the Ecto-1 is looking like at the moment. We're going to be doing stage 35, which does mean we're going to be finishing that last light bar and then installing it. And then I'm not going to need the car anymore because then we're starting to do the roof rack here. So if you want to get this for yourself, you can now get this through Fanhome. And I've put a link down here to the Fanhome website and you can get this all the way from pack 1. This is the heaviest 1.8 vehicle I've ever done. Believe me, it's like going to the gym, just picking this up from where it was over here to putting it here. The table can still manage to go up and down with it on it, which is cool, but it's a really heavy build. There's so much metal in this. It's a great build as well. But without further ado, after 1.5 years, let's get cracking. And just showing you that gurney again with the proton packs on. Before I move that to one side, this is what we were working on last time. So we're going to be finishing that finally this time. So here is issue 35. Let's just give you a flick through the magazine. This is all the parts to that stage. You can see a lot to do with the roof rack now. We're going to start making that. But we are going to be finishing that rear light, which means we need the motors. We've got wires to put in here. Putting the top on. Making this solid unit here. And then we're going to be putting this onto the car. I also need to unplug this control board here from the top of the car. Now I'm just going to put the motors back in. I don't even know if I even attempted to put these in last time. But they go in here. just like that. Now with that looking like that, I need to take the switch, and I'm going to be putting the switch just into the hole that we've got just there, like that. Now this is everything that we've got in stage 131. I do need this bracket here first, and this is going to go over the top of the motors from this side here, and it's also going to hold the switch in place, so it's doing quite a number of things. And there you go, that's seated in place, holding all of those together there. Now I want to put that in with 3 EP screws. It feels so weird to be working back on this again. I can't reiterate the feeling it is. I am making sure that these motors are engaged to that gear just there. And I'll get this screwed in. So it's 3 screws. 1 here, 1 here, and 1 there. Now we've got these 2 plugs coming out the control board, which is going to power these motors. So I'm just going to plug these into them. 1 here. And 1 here. And then I've got a hole, a big hole, just behind this cog here, which I'm going to be threading all of the other wires through, so they're coming out the other side here. So let's do that one at a time. That's 1, 2, 3, 4 lights, or 4 LEDs, and then we've got 1 plug here, which is an N plug. And I'm just going to slowly take up the slack of all of these wires, because eventually these plugs are going to go inside here. So I'm just rotating around, and the control board will sit in here as well. Now I'm going to hold just that in place with some adhesive tape, just to stop that springing out, like you can see there. And there you go, I've kept that into place just like that. So on this side now, I'm going to be putting all of these LED bulbs in. So the 2 shorter wires I've got are going to go into these ones, and they just push in. Now when they're all in there, we're going to keep them in place with these little brackets here, which are going to go down each hole. And that's going to hold everything in, because we're going to keep this in with an EP screw. So I've got 1 here. I'm not putting any pressure down on that other side there. So that's 1 bracket in that side. And just do the same on the other side here. So that's looking like that. Pretty good. We can put that to one side, because now we're going to create the actual light bar, which means taking this transparent blue section here, turning it upside down, and on each side I have the edges here. So 1 going this side, they actually go in, let's get it the right way round, this way round, so that they're actually fitting on the lip here. It sort of makes an angle here, so if the light's coming up from that side, it's making an angle this side. Now once I've got that in place, we're not screwing it in yet. I'm going to be putting what we've just created on top of this, gently, and I'm going to hold all of that in with XP screws. These are quite long screws here. So I'm going to put the middle ones in first, just to hold it, and then I'll put the other 4 in at each end. Now the plug cable that's coming out, we want to actually keep that in place with a clip. I've got the clip here, so it's going to go in just like this. And that's held in with an MP flange screw, which I have here. It just stops this wire being pulled. I'm going to put this into the clip, and there you go. That's how that looks. Pretty good, huh? There's the light. Got to do some bending now, because we're going to be creating the top section of this. Now the score lines have already been made for us, so you don't actually need, I was going to use my flat-headed duckbill pliers there to help get the bends, but it's been scored so well, you can just do this with your hands. So I'm just manipulating this into the sort of shape it's going to be. And I want to put the blank side here towards that cable. So that goes on like this. And it should be quite a tight fit to get it all the way around there like that. There we go. That's into place on both sides. Now the brackets I told you about earlier that I put on here need to be attached. I believe this probably was done in the last pack. I don't know what screws it's meant to be. It doesn't tell you in this one, so I'm putting YP screws in there just to keep that into place. They're probably the wrong screws. You're never going to see these, but I do want them in place. And also YP screws fit perfectly. As you can see, I've still got a broken one here. It's not going to be too hard to actually just glue that back into place there. So I'm just going to leave that there for now. And when we put this on, we're going to have the plug going in towards the centre of the car. So this is just going to go on like this. I'll put the other wires underneath there. That's going to be held in with these AP screws, which have got white heads on them. So let's get these in. So I'm just going to be connecting the short wire I've got here to this light bar. Just like that. Let's power it on and see what happens. Making a racket, but as you can see, working perfectly. That is the end of that stage. Wow! Look at it! So we don't need the car because we're going to be doing the roof rack for the next 3 stages. And that starts here with stage 132. So as you can see, we've got this, what is this, a siren? It's a siren we're going to be putting together. We're going to start putting the frame together again. We've got some electrics to put together here. So by the end of it, it looks like this. So this is everything we get in there, along with all of these bits of frame. And the first thing I want to do is want to put this clear lens into this reflector here. It has got a little notch at the top to let you know which way round this goes. But get it in and just push it into place. It should hold itself, no problems at all. On top of that, we've got the red lens now, which is just, I'm just going to give that a clean actually. Got my cloth here, don't want fingerprints all over it. That's going to go on top of that there. Again, it should be able to push in so it can hold itself like that. I need to detach an LED from the car. They don't help you out with what letter it is. I think it's this J letter here. And what I'm going to do is put this through the big reflector at the back. So it comes out the front, and then this is going to go into the back of what we just created there. Quite a tight fit, but it will go in. And then I want to put both of these together with lugs and just push them into place. They are different size lugs, these are, so it can only go in one way. I just figured that out the hard way. Bringing over this part of the frame. This has got a square base on it, and it's going to go into the position just there. It's held in from the underside with an IP screw. So, get that in nice and tight. And there we go. That's in place on there like that. So I'm going to need a couple of parts here. We need the front, and we need the middle of this siren. They actually go in one way. They have got a locating lug on these. Just going to rotate that round so I can get that in. Just like that. It leaves a hole at the top. And also a hole at the bottom for me to put a KP screw. Now these are silver screws. Got that here. Let's screw that in. One in this side. Perfect. And just one on the other side. This whole thing is then going into the reflector. Now again, we have got a little notch on top which tells us which way round it goes. So it's going to go in this way. Then it should fit nice and flush in there, just like that. Now this is going to be going onto the frame just at this point here. I've already put this one in because I've done it in a completely different order that I was meant to. So I'll put that in there. And that's held in with a HP screw. I blame the fact that this 1.5 year delay has thrown me. So I'm just doing things completely out of order. Okay, so that's in. Make it tight so it doesn't wobble. And there you go. They're both in place like that. Now continuity, and this is going to be all over the place because I built the frame, but I wanted to just go back to the strobe light that we need to create now. This is 3 pieces, but we also need to take out the LED for the strobe. Now this is labelled K. Don't know if this is the right one, but I'm sure we're going to find out together. What we need to do is take the front of the frame and just put the LED up through the frame like that. And then we're going to be making the strobe. I want to then take the base of this and I want to push this through the larger hole so that the LED comes out there. And I want to plug that into the top of this reflector just here. I will push this down with my tweezers here just to see if I can get that. Yep, I've got that in as far as I can get it. Put these two parts together so that the slots come out the back there, and then I can line this up. There is a locating lug there onto this section and secure it in with some TP screws. Here's the last one going here. That's all done, and then all you need to do is put the lens over the top of the strobe light there. You're looking for a little notch on the side here, so that fits in perfectly just like that. All that's left to do then is put this side of the frame on. This is just going to go into the position here and here like that, and that's going to be held in with AP screws. Get these in nice and tight to reinforce that. And then on the back here, we've got this section looking like that. It's going to go in with the flat parts on the bottom there. And it's going to sit like that. Again, held in with AP screws. So that's one that will hold that in place just while I get the second one in. So I've got them in place. I'm just going to tighten them up. That's one. Do this one at the top. And there you go. That is the frame started to be built. That's all there is to do in that stage. In stage 133, we've got the modified marine radome antenna, which looks like this. We're going to put the other side of the frame on and do this radome. So by the end, it's looking just like that. And again, quick look what we got in the box. Apart from frame pieces that we got here, we've also got the marine radome antenna. Bringing over what we've just done, we've got some braces now to put in that are going to go along the edges here. So we're going to have one here. We got one down the bottom here, and we're going to have another one just there. They're held in with AP screws. You know, when you put these on, you want to make sure they're on tight. You also want to make sure that the open section is facing down. The simplest way I find to do this is just to put the screw through the hole first, and then offer the part up to it on the other side, and screw that in. So that's all three of those in. Now you probably see it's bending at the moment, but obviously when we put the top piece in, it's only going to pull everything together, and it's the top piece that I'm going to be putting in now, and it is held in with the AM screws again, and we're just going to attach everything on this side to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 points. I'm going to put that in, show you what that looks like. And there you go. As you can see, that's squared up lovely. So that's the frame completed. Okay. With this marine dome antenna, just take all the parts off, and all I need to do first is just put this bottom section into this section here. It is shaped, so it can only go in one way, and that's held in again with 2 AP screws. One there, and just one on the other side. Now I'm going to take the dome, that's going to go on top of this frame here, and I'm going to line up the one hole that I've got next to it. Again, all of these are held in with AP screws. There we go, that's going to hold that in. I've got this tiny little lip bracket which is going to go into the hole on this side here. So it's going to make that corner. Again, this is held in on this side with an AP screw. Now we do have some decals to put onto here. I'll do that afterwards. I'm then going to put the other leg just in here to make that sort of effect. Again, AP screw. Now what I want to do is take this AP screw out that I put into the corner here. Get that all the way out. Because this is going to sit into the corner here. So, put it into position. Then I can screw this corner back in. This leg here has got a sort of like a lug to push over there. And then I've got one more screw, an AP screw, but we want a white AP screw this time. Got that here, just going into the back. Just like that. So I'll put the decals on afterwards. I said they look like this. You just need 2 bands of red around the top here, but that's all there is to do in that stage. Which means we've come to the last stage in this, which is the TU antenna and the roof panel. So again, it looks like we're peeling some, I don't know, is it a decal or adhesive off here? And we're going to be making this section, so by the end of it, it's going to look just like that there. Okay, first thing we're going to do is we're going to take these input tubes here. We're going to be putting these covers on the top here, just like this. Now, they are going to be screwed into place with 2 GP screws. If it doesn't seem to be fitting okay, then switch it round. It has got a certain way to fit in. But I'll get both of these in because there's 2 tubes to put on. And that looks perfect. We need to put a brace mount on here, which looks like that. That's just going to go on this way like that. I'm just going to see if it has got a different way around. There is a notch on this, so it can only go on one way. That's held in with ZP screws. And we just need 2 of these. Now I've zoomed up my camera. I need me tweezers. We've got these little sticky adhesive pads here. I'm just going to take one of these off. And I need to remove the stickiness from behind. I want to put one side on here. And do the same on the other side. Peel off the adhesive that's left. And then I've got these grills just to put over the top of each side here. So one this side, make sure it's square. So they look like that. Do the same on the other side. And there you go. That's in place on both sides. Now we've got some more decals to put on. Again, I'm going to do them afterwards. We'll do that in one go. But this section is then just going to go into this bracket mount base so it can turn like that. This whole thing is going to go into the top of this section. So let's just lock it into place. There you go. And it's held in with an IP screw from the underside here. So you will need a long shaft screwdriver. I'll just get that down there and screw that in. There is this nipple on the side there. I've got this at right angles to that, just so you know, because that is where we're going to be putting a hose. This hose is going to be on this side here, and I'm just going to push that on like that. All I need to do then is put a base just on the bottom of this section here. Again, can only go in one way. There is a notch there. So line that up. And it should clip in like that. Again, held in with IP screws. 2 of those, so they're both in place there. And then we're going to be taking this is the sniffer. That's what they're calling this. We're going to be taking this base here. It's just going to go into the keyhole pattern there. So I'm just lining it up. And again, I need an IP screw to hold that into place. All that's left to do then is just take some tweezers, get the pipe here, and just put that down the hole that we've got in the roof. You can glue that into place if you want. I'm going to leave mine just like that. I'm going to straighten that up. All that's left to do now is put the decals on. So I've got a tiny bit of water here. I'm just going to soak this into those decals there. I'll put them both in, just save time. Let them soak for a good couple of minutes. I think actually the first one I'm going to do is the sniffer. I'm going to put them in kind of in the same place. I'm just wetting the area I'm going to put it in. Slide this off with a cotton stick here. Doesn't matter how it goes on, as you can see there, because I'm about to manipulate this into position. Make sure it's straight. And then just blot off the excess. So that looks like that. Do the same on the other side. And that's both sides completed there. And on this marine dome, Similar technique. I'm just going to get that nice and wet at the top. Slide off this decal. And I'm going to put this into position. This one here overlaps. But there's the first one into place. And there you go. That's both of those in place. That's all there is to do in that stage. That's all there is to do in that pack. It's nice to be getting back into this, isn't it? So I think there's 2 more stages to go. So 2 more packs to go. So not much. Again, we're working on the roof rack. We've seen the lights. You've seen, if you don't like the noise the lights are making, you can get the Partwork upgrade lights. Again, they look like this. But check out the Partwork upgrade site there, just down there. And also, if you want to get this for yourself from Fanhome, I've also put the Fanhome link down here. You can get this all the way from pack 1. But I really hope you liked that video. If you did, please remember to give me a thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed already, please remember to subscribe. Other than that, take care.